Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the football season weekends, they really always seem to deliver. My goodness gracious, what an NFL weekend, including the Jaguars. They hold on for a big win, a win they had to have. And as the game played out yesterday against the Colts, and I got to say this nicely, watching how bad the Colts are, you couldn't lose that game. That was almost a must-win going in. But then watching the Colts, you had to win. We'll deep dive into that. The Jaguars kind of did something they have failed to do a lot over the last several years, is the drive of record, right? The actual drive of record in the game, they finished it off. It was not a long drive. 8 plays, 39 yards, 2 minutes and 23 seconds. But it got you in a field goal range to win the game. And the Jaguars historically on that drive, they will historically have a drive-killing holding penalty or a drive-killing illegal procedure penalty or the turnover. We'll dive into that. A lot to get to on the program today. Let me do a lot of housekeeping because there's a lot of moving parts going on right now with regard to our show, with regard to our state, with regard to the weather, the rest of the week. The best I can tell you with regard to our show is just follow us on social media. I'll try and keep us, everybody updated on with posts and things like that and videos. We should be good tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll see. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll kind of play everything by ear with regard to weather, with regard to flooding, with regard to personnel in terms of in and around our shows and our operation. I mean, you know, the sports end is important, but in our world over here, the weather and the community is more important. So a lot of times it's all hands on deck. And we also don't want to put any of our producers at risk trying to get in and out of our building and stuff like that. I hope we don't get much. I would expect a lot of rain. So we'll play it by ear. So just kind of hang tight with us. Just kind of hang tight, and I'll try to give good updates as we go over the next few days. Big news today. We're in studio today on Monday because we have a brand new Monday sponsor starting next Monday, and we've got to get some wiring done a little bit and run a little bit of an Ethernet here and there. But our brand new Monday show location sponsor starting next Monday is Icebreakers Sports Bar. You may not even know about it. We're going to tell you about it because it's fabulous. A fabulous location that is really a hidden gem inside the Community First Igloo. And you see the Igloo right there on 95 at Emerson, the big, beautiful. Man, I haven't been inside that building in several years. That thing has been rebuilt. It is spectacular inside. Multiple hockey rinks and just a wonderful sports bar. As a matter of fact, I posted some stuff on our show Facebook page and my Terry Norvelle Facebook page. Make sure you follow our show. Just put the Young Norvelle Show in Facebook and put it on those two, I think, today. The inside is unbelievable. Icebreaker Sports Bar. Gorgeous, gorgeous place. You're going to love it. We're going to love being there every single Monday. And you folks that work in that Emerson area, boy, you may not even know about this thing. They catered. I was over there today. Brent Martineau was there. His show, he in Austin, their show originated from the Igloo there before and kind of during the Jacksonville Sports Hall of Fame. Went over there. Patrick was with me today as well. He met me over there. By the way, we hope to have Patrick on the show. He's at a doctor's appointment that's been scheduled. Nothing out of the ordinary. He's trying to get out of there. He texted me and said, man, things are going slow at the doctor's office. But I had a big time. Patrick will tell you about it as well when we get him, hopefully in a little bit. They inducted the second ever class, the Jacksonville Sports Hall of Fame class. Tony Baselli was there. He was inducted. Chipper Jones was inducted. He had a video acceptance speech. Daniel Murphy had a great speech. He was there with his family. And Donna Orander, she was there. She was inducted. And Fang was there. And really enjoyed the actual in-person speeches by Tony Baselli and Daniel Murphy, Donna as well. She really had some interesting things to say as she has been in, around, and championed the women's sports cause over the years. She's one of the big players in women's sports nationally when it comes to advancing women's sports. So big time over there at the Igloo. You see it right there on Emerson, right there off 95, and that's where we'll be our Monday show will be originating from. We're excited about the new partnership with those folks. Jim Webb and his team, they catered the event today. About 300 people there, by the way. Big crowd, real big crowd, great food, good time. The program was in and out. Hey, man, you got there. They said get there around 11, start registering, find your table. 11:30, kind of introduce everybody, turn us loose to the buffet. About 30, 45 minutes later, the event started. The presentation started. And as the itinerary said, by 1 o'clock, we were done. We were done. Really run sharp, really run tight, and had a big time. We'll keep telling you about that. And hopefully Patrick will have some stuff to talk about that as well. We'll get into the Jaguars here momentarily, a little more deep. Gators win over the weekend. Noles lose again. Georgia, business as usual. Georgia just doing Georgia things. Just business as usual. And Miami, the Canes, I mean, they're legit now, right? I mean, the comeback right now with Jalen Milroe not playing a great game, I guess, for Alabama, you could say. And Cam Ward had more Heisman moments. Cam Ward's got to be the leader in the Heisman. The only thing that hurt Cam Ward from the win over Cal was I don't think many people saw it. I think it was such a late game. I did the highlight thing. I can't lie. I did the highlight thing, but the Canes were down 35-18. They were down 35-18, I think was the final count. Down 17 with just over 10 minutes remaining in the ballgame. And they come back and win by a point. That's a couple. Now, some people, from a Heisman standpoint, the comeback against Virginia Tech and the comeback against Cal and Cam Ward making these special plays, those help you win a Heisman Trophy. They're a little too dicey, though. Miami, with their schedule, they can afford one loss, not two. Miami's schedule is very, very light. But, man, our local teams, pretty good weekend. Gators and Canes and Dawgs win. Florida State loses. They played hard, I thought, but it just seems like a group of them might have just thrown in the towel at Florida State. Brock Glenn, it looks like, will quarterback the rest of the way. Why would you put DJU in when he comes back from broken fingers? I get the whole injury, lose your job, blah, 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 blah. DJU's had plenty of time. He's played a lot of football in a lot of places. You know what you're going to get with DJU. Looked like the offense responded a little better. Again, the Noles just can't put points on the board. Want to get into a lot of college football. We expect to have Brent Beard in the second hour today. I may get into it a little bit before Brent and then get back to him. But just a long list of college football winners from this past weekend and college football losers. And there are quite a few on both sides. Got some other news and notes I want to get to around college football and the Major League Baseball playoffs. I'll try and track those for you folks as we go here. 4:08, so they're just about first pitch right now. The American League steps up today. 2 American League games. Yesterday, the 2 National League games. Dodgers, San Diego tied at 1 apiece. Philadelphia and the New York Mets tied at 1 apiece. The Dodgers have won 1 game at home, 7-5, lost yesterday in a very chippy game to San Diego, 10-2. Padres blew them out, and boy, that thing got nasty. These two programs, these two organizations do not like each other. You had fans throwing stuff on the field and players cursing out opposing players on the mound and in the batter's box and on the on-deck circle. So the National League takes tonight off. The series now will switch to San Diego and New York, the Mets, that is, respectively. Those two will kick it up again tomorrow. Obviously, the West Coast game is the night game, the late game tomorrow. Philadelphia and New York will be the early game. Today, right now, Cleveland and Detroit are just about first pitch right now. We'll try and track that. That was scheduled for 4:08 first pitch. And then later tonight, Kansas City, they trail. And the two American League games are 1-0 right now. Cleveland leads 1-0, and the Yankees lead 1-0. Yankees got by Kansas City 6-5. Cleveland shut out Detroit 7-0. So today, Cleveland, Detroit, 4:08, just about right now, first pitch. And then tonight, 7:38, Yankees hosting KC. That is game 2 of the American League 2 series. So a lot of baseball, and we'll continue to have a lot of baseball for the next, 2-3 weeks, 3 weeks or so, as we've got another series. Then the World Series is kind of the roadmap there for Major League Baseball. So a lot to get to. What a fun time. What a fun time. NFL, college football, overlapping playoff baseball. And playoff baseball is a blast. I hope you folks, even if you're those people that you don't follow baseball, it's too slow during the regular season, too many games, blah, 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 watch playoff baseball. A lot of fun. It really, really is. So a lot to get to today on the program. Also want to look around the NFL, kind of what's happening. Look at standings now as we're 4 or 5 games in now. Some teams have had buys, but 4 or 5 games in. I think a real intriguing Monday night game tonight. You've got New Orleans 2-0. The Saints may have jumped out a little quicker than people thought, but New Orleans 2-0 on the road at 4-0 undefeated Kansas City. But man, goodness gracious, the Chiefs are battling their roster and injuries and guys in and guys out and rent a player here and bring back this running back there and plug in a wide receiver here. And man, Kansas City has had a lot of stuff to overcome, but so far they're 4-0. We go back to something I think I said late last week. You've got to respect the Kansas City organization. I mean, they seem to have their finger, and they should, a professional organization, but they seem to have an answer or a plan for every situation that pops up. Now, sometimes, it just doesn't quite work out, but it doesn't seem like when they get an injury, when Kansas City seems to get an injury on their roster, it feels like to me that their organization in the office building, in their stadium, I guess, that they must have a massive, massive player list chart somewhere, because they seem to always have a concept and a plan. When somebody goes down, where and who are they going to get quickly to plug in? Now, the player may not always work out, but I'm telling you, more than not, they'll go get a bridge player, and that guy may give them 4 or 5 games. And then the starter guy comes back. Man, impressive. Tonight, it's going to be a tall order, though. I think New Orleans is a little bit desperate, at Kansas City 4-0. Boy, they've put up with a lot of stuff. The Young Norvelle Show coming to you here from the studio tomorrow, right back in Mandarin at Hurricanes Julington Creek, and then we'll kind of piece the rest of the week together. Hopefully, we'll get everything in. Hopefully, we will get everything in, and especially even if you folks are off, and maybe you get off. Boss Man is going to be nice and say, hey, you got family, kind of take a few days off. Maybe we can walk you through this hurricane weekend. Stay with the NFL, getting back toward the Jaguars. Boy, you look at the AFC South, of which, of course, the Jaguars are in, and they're in the bottom of the AFC South right now. Houston leads 4-1. Indy, with the loss yesterday, drops to 2-3. Tennessee 1-3, and Jacksonville 1-4. The Jaguars have already played Houston, so they only have one more with the Texans. But boy, the way this looks now, the Texans already have a 2-game lead and a 3-game lead over the other 3 teams. It looks like about the only way anybody in the division not named Houston can think about getting to the top. The rest of the division's got to gang up on Houston. The Indy, Tennessee, Jaguars, they've got to gang up. When they play Houston, they got to beat them. They got to beat them the rest of the way. And I know Houston's got a couple wins already, but the rest of the division's got to gang up. It's got to be 3-on-1, and you get much more of a lead, and it's going to be really, really tough to come back. Some NFL just bouncing around news and notes. Don't look now. Baltimore, my Super Bowl pick to win it all. Tough start, 0-2. They're 3-2. If anybody's going to say to heck with that 0-2 start stuff, Baltimore doesn't even feel like they started 0-2. I'm almost positive. They're sitting at 3-2, and you know what? They're a threat. They're what most people thought. And again, I like this team. I think I picked them to win the Super Bowl. They are 3-2. They're fine. 0-2 is eons ago. They walk past that. I don't think it's any factor. Cincinnati, they're done, aren't they? Joe Burrow, wasn't it just, gosh darn, 2 years ago? Cincinnati was going to be the team that just was going to be, we all thought, in lockstep with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it was only 2 years ago. Cincinnati is spinning out of control, 1-4. Hard to believe. And I don't see them coming back. I don't see them coming back much. It may be just an absolute where are we picking in the draft type season for the Bengals. Other things that have just kind of caught my eye, want to throw out NFL news and notes kind of around the league. The Redskins win again, 4-1, and gosh darn, I know it's only 5 games into his career, but Jalen Daniels, the quarterback for the Commanders, I mean, is he kind of having an identical C.J. Stroud year? I mean, it seems like he's just hitting the ground running like Stroud did. They're a fun story in the NFL. Washington at 4-1. Minnesota, 5-0. The Vikings, we say it everywhere. Are they real? 5-0. You don't win 5 in a row in this league very often. Vikings, 5-0. They're off this week. I think Detroit's still good. Detroit's 3-1. Minnesota and Detroit still play twice. They've yet to play in the first 5 games. Detroit is at Dallas, and then 2 weeks from now, Detroit and Minnesota play. But Detroit is not off. Minnesota's off this week. Detroit at Dallas, Detroit at Minnesota. And then, just peeking ahead, because I think it might matter. And then, guess who plays the final game of the regular season? Minnesota and Detroit. I think that's going to be fun. I think Detroit is still good, and that's going to be a war. That is going to be a war, I think, coming out of their division. And look forward to it. Some of the stuff bouncing around. Let's get back to the Jacksonville Jaguars on the other side. Going in, I thought, most people thought, and I know they were already, 0-4. It was really a must-win for the Jaguars. The Colts missing their starting quarterback, even though Flacco played a great game, I thought. He played winning football. Joe Flacco played winning football. But, I mean, Jonathan Taylor's out. There's not a lot of talent up and down that roster, it doesn't look like, for the Colts. So going in yesterday, you almost thought, okay, home game, before you go on the road to London for a couple of weeks, you're sitting on a bagel, almost a must-win, just to think about the season not going way off the rails. And then, guys, once that game started, gosh darn, I thought the Colts were terrible. I mean, they looked terrible. A lot of their guys, I'm like, are these NFL? They look like AAA NFL players to me. With that said, man, that kicked it up. That would have been a crushing loss the way the Colts came back at the end. Oh, and it looked like it. Boy, we have seen that play on the stage here in Jacksonville wearing a Jaguar uniform. We've seen that play quite a bit. Let's stay with that game on the other side. Jaguar talk, college football talk. Brent Beard around 5 o'clock. We'll really dive into winners and losers, and there were a bunch in college football. What a weekend for a college football weekend that on paper, it looked, boy, did it not disappoint. It turned that around quick. Big doings in college football. Let's get to that in a little bit as well. One down, a long way to go. Glad you're with us here on Action Sports Jags. The Young Norvelle Show continues after this quick timeout.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device, you're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's that big bad schedule. Hopefully we can find some more wins for the Jaguars. Bears London, Patriots London. Back home with the Packers, Eagles, Vikings. Ooh. Vikings Lions back off game, and Vikings Lions off. Texans. Ouch. Welcome back, Young and Norvelle Show, coming to you from the studio. Big news, our brand new Monday sponsor will kick in next Monday, 1 week from today. We are at a really, really cool sports bar that's kind of flown under the radar. We're going to change that. Icebreaker Sports Bar inside the Igloo, the Community First Igloo. You know, that's the home of the Icemen, their kind of headquarters, their practice facility, and it is really nice. This thing has been totally revamped over the last several years. I haven't been in it in a few years. Was there today for the Jacksonville Hall of Fame ceremony. What a beautiful facility. Yes, you can go and public skate if you would like, and just a fun place to hang out. They've got a party room. They can cover the ice for big events. We were on the rink today, and there must have been 300. I asked, there were about 300 people at the event today, so they can accommodate large, small parties. If you've got and hockey in this area, in this town, is growing like leaps and bounds, and I think there are leagues popping up. We've got a lot of northern people that move down here. Maybe it's work, maybe it's retirement, maybe it's just because the North sucks. We're in the South. Can I say that? Get out of the North. It's cold, but they want to play their cold hockey. There are a lot of leagues, and a lot of kind of get-together leagues that you can rent ice. And the sports bar, I'm telling you, I was there today. We were doing a site survey because we start next Monday. Icebreakers Sports Bar inside Community First Igloo. You won't be disappointed by the entire facility. They've got lockers there. You can take because obviously you want to take your skates and things like that. You can lock up all your stuff. Just a big fun place. Check them out. Icebreakers Sports Bar inside the Community First Igloo. Top of the second, so they've played one inning. Detroit, Cleveland scoreless, and what that means, American League Baseball game 1 today of 2. The Yankees and KC go the night game, so it's the American League on the stage tonight. So one complete inning is in the books. That means Detroit has yet to score in 10 innings. They've yet to score. They were shut out game 1 by Cleveland, and they have not scratched going into the second inning. So Detroit got to find the bats. We'll keep you posted as we go on that ball game. That'll kind of wrap up, I guess, about time. No, it'll be about 3/4 of the way through when we go off there. But we'll track that for you in case you are wondering. Feel free to drop us a chat, whatever platform you are consuming our show on. Should have a little chat side. If you've got questions, comments, thoughts on anything coming out of the weekend. Looking back, reviewing, God, how did Miami, we'll get to college football in a minute with Brent Baird more, but how did Miami do it again? Miami back-to-back just pulling defeat out, pulling a win somehow out of what looks like a defeat, the Virginia Tech game, and now Saturday night, late night on the East Coast, the California-Miami game. I want to get back to the Jaguars, though. Wow. So many areas. 37-34 win for the Jags, late field goal, and they had to go get it. Momentum was gone. I know the Jags scored 17 fourth-quarter points. The Colts scored 24 fourth-quarter points. There was that, what was it? There was like a 5-minute stanza. You couldn't look up without seeing a Colt receiver named Pierce streaking down. Where the hell did this guy come from? And I've seen him play a little bit in his brief career. Where the hell was he Sunday? Did he miss the plane? And he got to the stadium late? Because my God, every time you looked up, he was streaking down the field, and goodness gracious, did that thing set up as that could have been the most heartbreaking loss in a long time. That could have been the nail in the proverbial coffin for the Jaguars. Had they blown that lead against that team at home to go 0-5, and then you get on a plane for a long distance and day trip to London, that's a lot of days over there and a long way to go. Ooh, that would have been terrible. But the Jaguars got the win, and they exercised a little bit of a demon. Because historically, Jacksonville has, and probably more times than not, been on offense. Sometimes the drive of record, the Jaguars are on defense, and they fail, like last week. The drive of record in that game last week was Jaguars on defense, go stop Texans, and they couldn't. The drive of record, they lost. Normally, it's the Jaguars on offense trying to go win the game, trying to go come back in the game, and they don't do it. This time they did. The Jags' final field goal drive to ultimately win the game, 8 plays, 39 yards. So it wasn't a long drive, but 8 plays, 39 yards, consuming 2 minutes and 23 seconds. And I want to get back to the 8 plays. If it was 1 or 2 plays, they just hit a big bomb. Okay, that's one thing. But one of the Jaguars' big Achilles heels, trying to come back late in games and win games, particularly games they should have won anyway, they seem to always be their own worst enemy. And they had to put together 8 plays. Again, this wasn't a 3-play drive where they hit a big run, they hit a big pass, and they got the end zone. That counts. I get that. You'll take that. But they had to go 8 plays. They had to go 8 plays where normally in that scenario, somebody on the Jag offensive line holds. Normally, in that scenario, somebody lined up on the line of scrimmage for the Jags jumps early. They get behind the chains. They didn't do it. They executed 8 plays in a row and got what they needed to get for the win. Again, allowed 24 fourth quarter points, though. Ooh, that is tough. Take Bigsby. Is he your running back now? I mean, is he the feed the ball, the majority of the touches running back? Well, he looked good. He's a good combination. He's got speed, as you saw in the long run. He's got the most power as a running back on the Jaguars. Tank Bigsby. And I liked him coming out of Auburn. I thought last year, I was a little surprised that Tank Bigsby just kind of seemed lost at that level. I thought he was a much better running back than he showed last year with the Jags. And this is the Tank Bigsby I remember at Auburn. I mean, he was a powerful, dominant running back, and he could find yardage that might not be there, but he damn sure got the yardage that was there. And by that, I mean some backs, you've seen them, some backs get the handoff, and the hole is a 4-yard hole, and they get 3. You know those guys. Bigsby's a guy, and he was like this at Auburn. When he gets the handoff, if there's a 4-yard hole, he gets 4.5. He's that guy. He gets 5. Boy, Bigsby looked good. Brian Thomas continues to shine defensively. I guess Walker had a nice stat sheet, but you got the win. Jaguars got the win. Now they take off for a long trip. Back to the college game real quick. Curious, Florida State now, the Seminoles, and we'll get into this with Brent coming up after the top of the hour. We hope to have Brent on about 5:05 or so. Boy, we'll do this with most of our local teams, but looking at Florida State's schedule, goodness gracious. The Seminoles dropped to 1-5. They are off this week, and Lord knows I think that's a good thing. Miami's also off. I think Miami just needs to kind of exhale a little bit, catch their breath, take inventory of their season. Where are they at? That was a long trip. You can say what you want. That is a long trip. I think this is a great off week for Miami. Just to catch their breath, look at the second half of the schedule, and I think Miami's a legit threat. Their schedule, we'll go over their schedule here in a moment. Miami's schedule is cake, man. Is real cake. Florida State, conversely, they are 1-5. The Noles are off this Saturday, and then they play next Friday. They play one of those weird Friday games on the 18th of October. They are at Duke. So it's going to be a weird, kind of discombobulated. You don't play on Friday very often. They're going to go to Duke. There'll be a decent atmosphere, but Duke is normally not this pit. I mean, it's a weird, basic stadium, just kind of a bowl. They're nowhere near. Duke football crowd is nowhere near Duke basketball crowd. Everything's going to be kind of weird about that game. And Duke just lost a tough game over the weekend. Duke's 5-1. We got plenty of time to talk about it. Duke lost to Georgia Tech, but the Blue Devils are 5-1. Do you realize Duke is 1 game away from bowl eligibility? They're 5-1 right now. Get to 6, you go to a bowl. And we've got to get into the Vanderbilt win over Alabama. What a game. I hope you saw it. Vanderbilt dominated that game. But you look at Vanderbilt, they're 3-2 and absolutely kicking themselves for losing earlier this year to Georgia State. Do you realize Vanderbilt, if they beat Georgia State, which they should have, think about it, Vanderbilt has a win over Virginia Tech and Alabama, but a loss to Georgia State. Had Vanderbilt beat had they beat Georgia State, Vanderbilt would be sitting on 4 wins. I know they've got Ball State on their schedule. You would think that's another win. That's 5. Do you realize, and they've got their work cut out for them, really because they let the Georgia State game get away. But Vanderbilt, 3 wins right now. They're at Kentucky Saturday. That's not inconceivable that Vandy could win. Ball State is after that. You got to believe that's going to be a win. Texas, at Auburn. Vanderbilt can beat Auburn this year. South Carolina, who knows what they're going to do. LSU and Tennessee, okay, those last 2 will be tough. But where I'm going, Vandy's got 3 wins. You need to get to 6. They pissed away Georgia State. That could have been 4. Do they have 3 more wins on that schedule? Oh, if they got the Georgia State. But take it a step further. If Vandy can scrap and find 3 more wins, here's how crazy the college football season is. If Vanderbilt finds 3 more wins, do you realize Vanderbilt and Duke are going bowling? They could play each other. I'd watch the hell out of that. Right? I'm not going to do it because I'm lazy. And I'm admitting I'm lazy. And I'm unbuttoning my top button. Loosen things up here. Not going to look it up. But I cannot believe there are many seasons where Vanderbilt and Duke went to bowl games the same season. Very good chance that could happen. I'd love to see that happen. I would love, and you know what? Throw in Army and Navy. How about Army and Navy? They're both 5-0, and they ran roughshod over their opponents. Army just woodshedded, Tulsa. And Navy got the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief trophy. They woodshedded Air Force. They're both 5-0. And that quasi brings us to Notre Dame. What in the world does the committee do with Notre Dame? Show you their schedule before we go to break. What do you do if Notre Dame runs the table with 1 loss? What do you do if you've got a bunch of other 1-loss teams and only a couple of at-large spots? Notre Dame can't win their way in by winning a conference. They're not in one of the big 4 that gets an automatic bid, so they can't get in that way. Notre Dame doesn't qualify for the group of 5, so they can't get in that way. What if Notre Dame, with 1 loss, is blanketed in with a bunch of other 1-loss teams? Notre Dame plays an absolute god-awful week schedule. It's ungodly and getting worse by the week. Notre Dame, and we'll get to our winners and losers. I've got Notre Dame from this past weekend. I think they were off. They were a loser. You know why they were a loser? Southern Cal got beat again. And Southern Cal, Notre Dame needs a big win or 2. They just don't have it on the schedule. And don't forget, the Fighting Irish have one of the ugliest losses, no disrespect to Northern Illinois, at 3-2. Notre Dame has one of the uglier losses of the top teams in, you could say the same thing about Alabama. But Vanderbilt is not Northern Illinois. Vanderbilt in the SEC is not American Athletic, whatever, the MAC or whatever they're in. Let's get back to Notre Dame, though. What do you do with Notre Dame? And they certainly better not lose another game. Let me take a look here at the Independents. The Notre Dame's issue, what the Irish really need, really need, and I don't think it's going to happen, but Notre Dame really needs Texas A&M to run the table. Because Notre Dame beat them week 1, 23-10. Texas A&M now is 5-1, and they've bumped into the top 25. Let me get to Texas A&M's schedule, though. The Aggies, with one loss to Notre Dame, they had a nice win. They routed Missouri. Top 10 win. Texas A&M, the rest of the way, they're at Mississippi State, should be a win. LSU at home for A&M, at South Carolina, New Mexico State, at Auburn, and Texas. So, Notre Dame really needs A&M to win all those games. The Texas game will be tough. The LSU game will be tough. If A&M loses another game, that's not a marquee enough win for Notre Dame. Notre Dame then would basically have no marquee, no pelt they can put on the wall and go, look at there. Look at that big fur up there. Now, you go back to, let me find USC. USC is killing, they're killing Notre Dame. Where's, hold on, let me find USC. Oh, I'm looking. How about that? Old habits die young. I'm looking for USC in the Pac-12. USC, losing a couple games, has really also crushed Notre Dame. Here we go. USC, they've got a couple losses. They lost at Michigan. They just lost at Minnesota. USC has Penn State in Los Angeles, but Penn State Saturday. The Trojans have 2 losses. They've got Penn State left, Maryland, Rutgers. Rutgers plays good football. At Washington, ask Michigan how fun that trip is. Nebraska, at UCLA, and then Notre Dame. So USC already has 2 losses. Let's say, just for you-know-whats and giggles, that the Trojans run the rest of their schedule before they get to Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame's in an awkward position. They need a big win over a high-ranked team. But if Notre Dame knocks off USC, that's at least 3 losses. How high can you be ranked with 3 losses? And that would be accepting that, are you telling me they're going to beat Penn State, Maryland, Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska, and UCLA before Notre Dame? So it's a weird dynamic, but Notre Dame has to win the game against USC. But if they do, they put another ugly wart on USC, and USC is not going to be a pelt. Notre Dame, man, let me go over their schedule before we get out of here this segment, and we can get back into it. But Notre Dame, their schedule is dog meat, especially with no USC. Keep in mind, as a scheduling partner, Notre Dame doesn't catch Miami. Boy, they could use a game with Miami. They just don't play them this year. They only play 5. Can't play everybody. They don't play Clemson. By the way, Clemson is quietly scooching back into the top 10. Notre Dame doesn't play them. They don't play Miami. They don't play Clemson. They could use games against those guys. And they can't play them in a conference championship game because they don't go to the conference championship game. Quickly before we break, Notre Dame's schedule. They opened up at Texas A&M. That was a nice win. Nice win for Notre Dame, and I just don't think A&M is going to win out. Northern Illinois was a loss, and that's an ugly loss. That is an ugly, ugly loss. A&M win, Northern Illinois, and loss. At Purdue, they're terrible. Miami of Ohio, Louisville, Stanford is next for Notre Dame. Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, at USC. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. But they're big bad Notre Dame. What if there are 3? What if there are 3 at-large? The committee is arguing about the last 2 or 3 at-large spots. And they've got 4 one-loss teams, and Notre Dame's one of them. I don't really care who the other one-loss teams. You would think they would have a much better resume than Notre Dame. What to do with the Irish. But you know what I know. Not Notre Dame's fault. They carry a big sledgehammer. College football allows Notre Dame to carry a big sledgehammer. As we break, I posted this on Facebook over the weekend. And a guy texted the normal, my post was, what the hell do we do with Notre Dame with 1 loss and a horrible schedule? And the typical reply on Facebook was, they should be forced to be in a conference and they're not, so to hell with them. And it sounded like the guy, I didn't go in any deeper, but it sounded like he was mad at Notre Dame. I wanted to reply, and I just didn't feel like getting into it. I wanted to say, well, sounds like you're mad at Notre Dame, but why are you mad at Notre Dame? And the easy comeback normally is, well, they don't have to play in a conference, and they seem to get special treatment, and there's always this plus Notre Dame, and blah, blah. Well, who are you mad at? If all that's true, are you mad at Notre Dame? Why would you be mad at Notre Dame? You should be mad at the rest of college football who allows it. They allow it. Notre Dame goes, well, we would like to have this, 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 and this. And college football says, okay. I mean, why would you be mad at Notre Dame? I don't know. This may bite them. This might bite them. And if it does, if this was to bite Notre Dame hard, like Austin Bowers said, in this era of conference realignment and conference expansion and despansion, if that's a word, you just wonder. Let's take a break. We'll come back, reset this final hour. We'll take a look at Major League Baseball, see what's going on with the Cleveland-Detroit game, and we'll set up things for the second hour. We hope to have Britt Beard for some deep college football talk here on the program. Wrapping up hour number 1. Stay right there. We're going to talk about a lot of those teams when we come back on the Young and Norvelle Show.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
Since 1936, Procter Ace has been proudly helping Jacks with all your home and garden projects. Whether you need tools, paint, plumbing supplies, or expert advice, we've got what you need to get the job done right. Looking to brighten your yard? Visit our garden center for plants, tools, and everything to make your outdoor space flourish. You're not just shopping here, you're part of our community. So come in today and let us help you tackle your next project with a smile. After all,
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week, and that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:35, back to the stream to break down the night's results with a reaction from local coaches. 4 straight hours of high school football on the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Only on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices her pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com.
There's where it happened at yesterday. Kind of a yucky, ugly day, but when you get the win, that helps a lot. Man, you take a look at that stadium, and as we welcome back to the Young Norvelle Show, that stadium, and obviously the new one's coming, and it's going to be state of the art. But that stadium right there, that was the one era gone by stadium. Remember when everybody built that stadium in 2000? That look, that concept. Now they're all pretty much enclosed. They're more brick and brown with facade, and they a bunch of them in at least one of the end zones has a bunch of glass, so you let in natural light, and they're not all closed, but a lot of them got the roof kind of across most of it, but. That look right there, it's funny how quickly I can remember going in there when that got done, and you're like, whoa, this is on par. This is how the new stadiums of the future look. Man, that looks, what does that look? That looks so 2004, or 2006. Progress, my boys, progress just keeps on going. Welcome back to the Young and Norvelle Show, wrapping up hour number 1. Brent Beard should join us. In hour 2, we got a lot of deep diving to do. We've talked a lot of Jaguars talk earlier here to lead the show off. We'll get into some college football. A lot of notes, winners and losers from the weekend, and kind of peeking ahead a little bit. Boy, Florida goes on the road, and Gators are 3-2. Not much of an impressive win mixed in there. But Tennessee kind of stunk it up. Boy, that high-powered offense never got going. 14 points in a loss to Arkansas. So we'll get into that as we go. Still no score. Bottom of the third, Cleveland and Detroit. Boy, this is almost a must-win. Best 3 out of 5 now in this round, but Detroit is down 1-0. They got shut out by Cleveland a couple days ago in Game 1, but Detroit has their ace, Scoobles, on the mound. This guy is probably going to win the Cy Young on May. He's one of the 2 or 3 top leaders for the American League Cy Young. He is dominant. This is a game where, with that guy on the mound, Detroit almost has to win that game. They first pitched that thing about 4:08. We'll track it until we get off the air at 6 tonight. AL game number 2 today, 7:38. Yankees hosting Kansas City. The Yanks lead 1-0. They got by on a 6-5 win against the Royals. So we'll track that. Had a good time today. Want to talk about it again real quick. Down at I attended along with Patrick. Patrick was with me. By the way, Patrick was at the doctor this afternoon after the event we were at. So I don't know if he's going to be able to squeeze on the show today. He texted me and said he was having typical doctor waiting in the doctor's office. We've all been there before. But we were at the Jacksonville Sports Hall of Fame presentation today. Had a good time. Saw Brent Martineau, our buddy Brent, who does our midday show here on Action Sports Jacks. You know that. He was broadcasting live from the Igloo, and the event was on the ice, and PRI was hired in, and the staff there at the Igloo and the Icemen helped put it on. Big-time event. Tony Baselli was inducted. This is the second year they've done this. They do it annually now, which is a good idea. Tony Baselli went in, Chipper Jones, Donna Orlander, and Daniel Murphy. I had a chance to say hi to Daniel real quick from JU. And, boy, they showed highlights of everybody. Murphy and Chipper Jones, they showed a lot of home runs when they were showing highlights. My God, both of those guys, their swing from the left side. And I know Chipper was a switch hitter, but their left-handed swings, Murphy and Jones, beautiful. I mean, you could textbook, take that to a batting cage and teach off their swings. The interesting thing about Chipper Jones and his left-handed swing, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. He's a switch hitter, and he's a natural right-handed hitter. I think his swing from the left side always looked better than his swing from the right side. Boy, they went over Chipper's numbers as well, his career numbers. Man, you forget how freaking good Chipper Jones was and how many big numbers he put up. Chipper, they said he was well over 400 home runs, for God's sakes. Man, he was good. And you talk about a guy just destined to be a star. Chipper obviously is not from Jacksonville. He found his way to Bowles, played 3 years football. He's a good football player, too, football and baseball. Chipper, and you heard his name. Now, this was 25 years ago. 25 years. You heard Chipper's name as a high school player. You would hear that unique kind of name, this guy named Chipper Jones over at Bowles. He's going to be a huge draft pick. This guy's like a baseball prodigy. You heard that around here. And you talk about a guy living up to it. Chipper Jones, coming out of Bowles, was the first pick in the Major League Draft. Not he went in the first round. He was one of one. He was the first pick. He was Trevor Lawrence. He was Paul Skeens. He was one of one. And barely had a hiccup in the minor leagues. Zipped through the minor leagues, got on the big club with the Braves, and never looked back. Multi-time All-Star. World Series champion one time. Playoffs all the time. This guy, Chipper Jones, was born to play baseball. Looked absolutely perfect in a baseball uniform. Everything about baseball was Chipper Jones. And Chipper Jones was everything about baseball. Oh, did he live up to it? Feel bad for the high school guys. High school is canceled, I think, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So obviously no high school football this weekend, and they're going to have to really compress. I know there's talk now that the state of Florida may kind of copy the state of Georgia with regard to their playoffs. It looks like Georgia has kind of moved their playoffs a week or two later, and you got to believe Florida might have to do something like that with this hurricane. I mean, the first one hit more Panhandle. This one's going to hit more middle of the state. So, gosh darn, everybody's going to be felt here over the next 2 weeks or the past 2 weeks with these two hurricanes coming through. So keep on track about the high school season, man. I feel bad for these guys missing games and everybody, the band, the cheerleaders. I mean, if you cut games off of the season, I mean, it counts for all of them. I mean, the band, they like to perform. The cheerleaders, they like to perform. The ROTC, they like to perform. I hate to see that get taken away. Kind of a heavy subject here, and I don't know enough about it, but I'm still going to bring it up. And it'll be our wrap-up story here, hour number one. I don't know what's behind it necessarily, so I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I don't think I am. As most of you guys know, or a lot of y'all that have known me, friends, followed me a little bit, you might know I'm born and raised in Jacksonville, grew up on the west side. I went to Ed White. Graduated from JU, but I went to Ed White. West side guy, proud west side guy. Did you see the viral video that's making its rounds today? I saw it, I think it was first time, might have been yesterday. Don't know what, it was a bad look for my Ed White football team. I played baseball over there, but that's my school. Ed White, and there's a video of it. Ed White, and it looks like they're playing Atlantic Coast. So the Ed White, whoever shoots this, camera-wise, cell phone-wise, camera-wise, is out there at midfield where the captains have come together to flip the coin to start the game. The Ed White 3 or 4 captains walk out, and so do the Atlantic Coast. I think it was Atlantic Coast. And Ed White's captains pull the wink shaking your hand. 1 or 2 of them have their hands behind their back, and 1 or 2 of them, as Atlantic Coast extends their hand, the Ed White guys do not reciprocate. And I don't know what the deal was, but I didn't like it. And it would take something special for me to go, okay, I understand. But I do want to tip my hat to the white hat, the lead referee, who you didn't really see him, but you could hear him. And I'm paraphrasing here, but when Ed White did that, and some of the AC Atlantic Coast players, you could kind of hear them saying, hey, man, come on. I know what this is about. The white hat, the referee, kind of said the same thing. Hey, he basically, and I don't think he threatened penalties or anything, but he said, hey, what are we doing here, guys? Hey, let's show some sportsmanship. And he kind of talked them into, so they ended up shaking hands. But it was a bad look, I thought. Bad look for my old school. If you know anything about it, if there's a backstory I'm missing or unaware of, I'm not saying I'm going to agree with it, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the look. And that was done, was it the college level? It seems like there was a game this year that the hands behind the back, I don't know if it was Colorado, some college team did it, and it made the news. This looked like a little bit of a copycat, but there's got to be a reason. It's just not. I hope the reason is that Ed White just said, hey, that's going to make us tough. We don't shake anybody's hand. We're ready to go to war against you. Blah, 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 blah. I hope that wasn't it. But, yeah, if you know anything about that, drop me a chat. I'm curious. I'm not going to work too hard to find it, but drop me a chat if you know. I didn't like the look, though. I did not like the look. Let's take a break here. 1 hour down, 1 to go. Brent Beard should join us here momentarily. We're going to get deep into college football. Going into last weekend, and I remember saying it right here on this show, going into last weekend, college football-wise, Brent and I were actually talking. I said, yeah, on paper, it just doesn't look like a great weekend. Boy, 5 of the top 11 teams go down. Miami spits out the hook. Could have been 6. What a weekend it was in college football, including the big one. Vanderbilt at home really beat up Alabama. Boy, did you ever think you would hear that when talking about college football? Break time, 1 down, 1 to go. The Young Norvelle Show right here on Action Sports Jack.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Rain clouds are a-brewing, and I expect to see a lot of that. I think we all will, unfortunately, over the next several days in this area. Boy, the folks in Tampa and really in that Tampa Bay, St. Pete area where that storm might be coming right into, boy, they are really, really getting their prep going. Good for them starting early. The highways are going out of Tampa are just packed as people are heeding the warning and getting out of there. I just saw on the Facebook there's a picture of the baseball park in Tampa, and the entire field must have, God, I'm guessing 300 or 400 kind of like cots, temporary cots set up for a shelter. And I hope this thing just does something for the good and is not as strong and potentially devastating. I mean, we just came out of this. I know when I was driving in today, leaving my house and kind of just driving through the neighborhood, there is a lot of rubbish that people have gathered that's still sitting on the street. I mean, we've got piles and piles all over the city, and man, I don't think it's going to get picked up here in the next day or two. And if another one hits with that kind of wind, it's going to add to the mess. I think we have Brent Beard on. We're going to catch up with Brent, talk a lot of ball. As there he is, Mr. Beard, man. Have you seen some of the early evacuation coming out of that Tampa? And I tip my hat. I hope everybody can get out, and I hope everybody has a good, safe place to go, Brent. That's one of the things is you may be intelligent enough to say, hey, I kind of need to get out of here. You gotta have somewhere to go. Everybody doesn't have the debit card, they can throw a week's worth of hotels in Atlanta, or you gotta have somewhere to go, Brent.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, it hopefully people have family or somewhere between here in Atlanta or Gatlinburg or something like that where they can stay.
And then you think of stuff like animals and young kids. I mean, you can't leave your animals, but I mean, you only got so much space in a car. And what if you got young kids that don't travel well? I mean, you get stuck on one of those highways at 2 miles an hour. Wow. I hope everything works out. Obviously, Captain Obvious. Brent, a lot of college football to talk about. Also want to get this out. Florida-Kentucky game time is set now. This is a week from Saturday. It'll be an SEC Network game, 7:45. So the Gators will go night. They're playing a lot of night games now. But Florida-Kentucky, now that game's in Gainesville. Last year, Kentucky absolutely walked the dog on them, right? They ran for about 300 yards.
Really.
And looks like Kentucky's starting to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Brock Vandergriff is being able to do that. That's a pretty good football team all the way around.
Yeah.
Frankly, Barry and Brown's one of the better wide receivers in the league. Deion Walker has done well. J.J. Weaver. I mean, they've got a pretty good defense.
They really do.
Also, and now they are Kentucky off this week, and then they've got Vandy and then Florida. So all that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
But Terry, it was as 3 SEC teams losing that are ranked the top 10. That's never happened before.
How about that?
In the league.
How about 5 of your top 11 lose Saturday? And Miami would have been 6, but they spit the hook out. 5 of your top 11. Real quick, and we'll get to Kentucky next week in Florida, but you realize Kentucky is 2 points away from having a couple of top 10 wins.
Yeah, no doubt.
They beat Ole Miss and beat them up pretty good, and they lost 13-12 to Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely. Or they would be really highly ranked right now. The other team, Terry, that is close to actually being undefeated and probably in the top 10 is Arkansas.
And are they a fun story?
Arkansas with a great win over Tennessee.
Are they a fun story?
Should have beat Oklahoma State in double overtime. Should have beat A&M in Jerry's world.
Yeah.
So, and again, this is what we talked about on our segment repeatedly, is this is what makes this league so good. It's not just Alabama and Georgia and Texas and maybe Missouri and Tennessee. It's Arkansas and Kentucky in the middle of the pack in this league that if you're not careful, you can get beat because they're so physical and they play good defense, and you're going into a trap game on the road.
How about Oklahoma now? How about Florida in some years would be in the middle of that, it's tough. Brent, we got to start with a big one. Obviously, Vanderbilt. They not only beat Bama, they beat them up. They physically, I thought, beat Bama, beat them up. Where does, and I know it's one game and we have a playoff now, but is this going to be one of those, his 5th game as the coach at Alabama, Kalen DeBoer has a loss to Vanderbilt. That's unheard of in Tuscaloosa. Is this going to be one of those burr under the saddle games? You think 2 years from now when DeBoer loses a game, Alabama fan, he lost to Vanderbilt. That was how much is this going to affect DeBoer 5 games in, and he took over a good, solid program. This wasn't Nick Saban taking over 07 Bama. This was a good, solid program.
Yeah, and if obviously if they get in the playoffs, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But all in all, still, let's be honest about this. They were not ready to play.
Yeah.
They were certainly not ready to play assignment football. Now, you caught on this really quick, I'm guessing. They ran basically a wishbone. They had an inverted wishbone.
Yes, they did.
They ran they ran a veer. They ran an option.
Yep.
There wasn't anything complicated about it, but you still don't see it that often.
Yep.
And the real concern, I think, for Alabama people is the defense in the last 6 quarters. The defense is has given up like 60 points to Georgia and to Vanderbilt with that. And the other thing, Terry and Pat, is who does this in this day and age? Vanderbilt was 12 of 18 on third down, and
against Alabama.
Now this is amazing too. Now Alabama was very, very efficient when they had the ball. Vandy had 75 plays. Alabama had 45.
That's a 30 play difference.
It is. Yes.
That's a half.
Mm-hmm.
They had the ball a half more than Alabama, if you think about it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Some halves you run 30 plays.
Wow.
We
have not seen a guy like this Diego kid in quite a while. I think the last guy would probably have to be Manziel.
Yeah, this guy's a poor man. He's a poor man's Manziel, nowhere near the athlete. But this is a gritty, gutty kid.
Yeah. Extremely confident. Look, when you're 4th and 1 against Alabama, and you fade back and you loft one into the end zone from about 35 to 40 yards away. I mean, you've got, shall we say, you've got to have some intestinal fortitude that a lot of guys don't have.
How about Diego Pavia, the starting quarterback that just beat Alabama? He was the quarterback for New Mexico State last year. Mm-hmm. New Mexico State went into Auburn, and Diego Pavia beat Auburn in less than 1 year. And this is a mouthful.
Yeah.
In less than 1 year, calendar year, a guy named Diego Pavia has a starting quarterback win over Auburn and Alabama. That doesn't happen all the time. Mm-hmm. Less than a year.
And listen, Vandy plays Auburn again in a few weeks.
Yep.
So
and they can beat Auburn again. They can beat Auburn. They can. What about and this is winner's side, and we're talking about Vandy obviously now. What about Vanderbilt absolutely kicking themselves for losing to Georgia State?
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt is sitting here with 3 wins. They should have beat Georgia State. I haven't seen Georgia.
They should have beat Missouri, Terry.
Yeah, and they should have been. But you go get Georgia State, you got 4.
Yeah.
You got Ball State, that's 5. They can beat Auburn. They can beat South Carolina, but man, would it be nice to have that Georgia State win, because Vandy, they get to 6 wins. That's a monster year. They're going to a bowl game.
No doubt about it. And they've made progress. Now, look, Clark Lee has really done a good job. Tim Beck, that offensive coordinator for them, has also done a good job. So they've got a little bit of time. Several teams in the league have the week off.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be kind of dealing with also. But, I mean, the A&M thrashing of Missouri, the Arkansas upset of Tennessee, the Vanderbilt-Alabama game. I'm not saying we're going to have this every year, but what I am going to say is I think with these playoffs, now tell me if I'm overthinking this. I think with the fact that you can be 10-2 or 9-3, maybe even if you're in the SEC to get the playoffs, does that mean these kids have the mental edge that they normally would have, Terry, if there was not that extra measure of grace by being able to be in the playoffs in a 12-team group?
Well, you may be bringing up something that I point out with the NFL all the time. The NFL, you've got a 5-game. Now they're playing 17. You've got a 5 or 6 game buffer zone.
You do.
That if you lose 5, okay, win the rest of them, we're going to the playoffs.
Right.
You lose 6, you lose 6 or 7, and I think sometimes we call it parity. I think sometimes some of the NFL guys fall to that. We only got 3 losses. The ball's not going our way today. To hell with it. 4 losses, we're still in. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, Brent, some other games want to bounce around. And next segment, I hope I can keep you on. We're not ignoring the Gators, the Noles, the Dawgs, or Miami. I just want to hit some winners and losers. Then we'll get to our close schools, including Miami. You mentioned Arkansas. They're one of the fun stories. They're a lot of fun.
They really are.
Texas A&M, hey, you know what? Sometimes coaches know more than Harry and Brent. I thought A&M was making a mistake pulling Marcel Reed. Wigman got his job back and played his tail off. A&M's 5-1 right now, and they lost to the opening game to Georgia. I'm sorry, they lost to Notre Dame in their opening game. They're 5-1, Brent.
They sure are. Oh yeah, and they made considerable improvement. Also, I'm with you on Wigman, but I mean he came back and he was very sharp in that game. They are now able. They're running the ball better. I think their offensive line's better. We knew they had a pretty good defensive line.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, 41-10.
That was a whooping.
Missouri.
I watched a lot of that game.
I'm curious what you saw. Now, Lavavian Moss and Amari Daniels,
nice backs,
really had their way. 3-0 in the league.
Yeah.
But Terry, we talked about this a little bit, and I'm curious what you saw. Something's wrong with Missouri. Can you put your finger on it?
Yes, that not just the wins and losses. That's not the Drinkwitz Missouri team we've seen. You're right. I don't know if there's an edge missing. I don't know if they've gotten the Burdens and the Brady Cooks have gotten fat and happy, or something is off with Missouri. You're right. They don't have the edge. I don't know if it's a locker room thing. It's weird seeing them play. It is really weird seeing the way they're playing. Army Navy 5-0. Let me get back real quick, and we can pull this up with Florida next segment. But I'm just doing the math here. Florida has lost 2 football games.
Yeah.
The 2 teams that have beat them are combined 10-1.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what that says, but Miami's undefeated, and A&M's popped into the top 25, and they're going to move up. I haven't seen a new poll, but they're going to move up.
I would agree with that.
We talked about Army and Navy. That's neat. We'll play that as the season goes on. They're both 5-0. Have you had a chance? I hope you saw them play FSU, and then I watched a bunch of SMU's game this past Saturday. Who did they beat? They beat somebody in a thriller. I'm sorry, I'm losing. Let me look them up real quick. Have you had a chance to see? They beat Louisville in a fun game. Have you had a chance to watch SMU on offense?
Yeah.
They're fun on offense. Rhett Lashley,
they are.
He runs a fun offense. He's got a lot of scat back guys. They're fun.
Well, that offense looks like, frankly, to Terry, it looks like a better version of what Gus Malzahn does.
It really does
at UCF. Frankly, because Gus has got all this this eye candy that they come up with too. Preston Stone, that the QB does a good job there. And again, for now you've got SMU at Stanford, then at Duke, and then at Pittsburgh. Duke playing better, Pittsburgh but playing better. And the truth of the matter is, listen, this Cal team, man alive, they should have beat FSU. Cal should have beat Miami.
Yeah.
But yet they keep going with that.
They're fun to watch. I've seen them a lot now. They're fun to watch on offense, especially.
Yeah. But I'm seeing more out of the ACC than I thought we would.
Same here.
Pitt's playing better, and I give them credit for that. Eli Holstein, who used to be at Alabama as our quarterback,
Yeah.
And has done a nice job with them too. So, but no, I'm with you. I was a little bit surprised with SMU. SMU's going to a bowl game, and my Stars, if they had a break or two, may challenge for the conference.
We'll break here, Brent, and then talk Florida State, Georgia, Miami on the other side, and we'll get to some losers. We talked a lot about the winners. I'm gonna say this though quietly as we go to break. Don't look now, but Clemson is kind of easing back into the top 10, and looks like they look like they're figuring it out. And I'm telling you, that second half against Georgia was a little odd. That game was much closer than 34-3. I thought.
Agree. And look, the committee will give them a lot of grace because you went on the road, basically home game for Georgia. And Georgia, look, you and I both know Georgia's going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
So that's what the committee is going to say to Clemson. Yeah. We'll give you credit for that.
Yeah, I agree. Brent, stay where you're at if you can. Gators going to win. Noles lose again. Dawgs business as usual. And is Miami legit? I think the Canes, sometimes it's kind of your year. This may be one of those years for the Hurricanes. And college football losers, including, we got to talk about Tennessee only putting 14 on the board. Kalen DeBoer, 5 games in. I think Notre Dame had a loss even though they didn't play. We'll explain that. And North Carolina, Mac Brown. Back in the TV booth soon. Mac Brown, it's gotten away from you. Brent Beard talking college football on the other side. You are hooked up with the Young Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jacks. Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Back we are, the Young and Norvelle Show. Brent Beard joining me, Terry Norvelle. Patrick Young is at a doctor's appointment. It was scheduled, nothing to be worried about. Pat, I spent the lunch, the better part of lunch today with Pat. We were at the Jacksonville Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Brent had a good time. Second year they've done this, and they're going to do it annually, a Jacksonville Hall of Fame. Actually, Patrick and I went to the Florida Hall of Fame, I think it was last fall, about this time last year, and among the people inducted to the state of Florida Hall of Fame was Tom Coughlin and Vince Carter. Well, today it's the Jacksonville Sports Hall of Fame, and Donna Orlander, one of the great advocates of women's sports, a resident here, she went in. Tony Baselli went in. Nice speech by Donna and Tony. Daniel Murphy went in. Chipper Jones went in. Good class. That's a pretty good group right there from Jacksonville with Jacksonville ties. Brent, real quick, let me update people that are following baseball. Still no score. End of the fifth inning. They're going to the top of the sixth inning. Cleveland and Detroit, no score. What really stands out, Detroit lost game 1, 7-0. So Detroit, if I'm doing my math right, the Tigers have gone 14 scoreless innings to open up. Hard to win a series if you don't score any runs, Brent Beard.
Really, yeah. No doubt about that.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into it. Gator perspective. Strange game Saturday night in the Swamp. Gators 24 points in the first half. They lead 24-3. Florida didn't score in the second half, Brent. Not a good sign. The Gators did not score in the second half.
No, but their defense finally stood up and were accounted for. That is, I think, very helpful and very something that probably surprised a lot of people. They actually stuffed KJ Jefferson. Went in a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
So I give them a lot of credit for that to be able to do it, and they did what they needed to do. I tell you what. Graham Mertz is really good. Graham Mertz, his last 2 games, has completed like 80% of his passes along the way. And look, DJ Lagway came in and he still makes some throws that few people can make. Yeah. But listen, did you see this where Jalen Kitna, the former Gator who got in all kinds of trouble, is a starting quarterback at UAB?
And isn't UAB where Trent Dilfer's at, and it's been a total disaster? They gave up 71. Trent Dilfer's one of the guys that kind of Peter principled. He shouldn't have been handed a head job. He's never really been a coach. Yes. His name got him, and it's been a 2 or 3 year disaster. But Jalen Kitna, and I don't want to get deep into it, but there was some pretty heavy stuff that he got in trouble with, and on the computer and stuff like that. And he's surfaced at UAB of all places. Brent, stay with the Gators for a moment. I still think the only chance they have against good teams defensively is offensive third downs. I think Florida's got to stay on the field is about their only good defense, if that makes any sense. I think you know what I'm saying. Let me get back to UCF. I thought the Colorado ass whipping took a lot out of UCF. I think Colorado took a lot of steam out of. Had UCF won that game, they'd be 5-1 and maybe ranked if they beat Colorado. I think that took a lot of gas. Not to take away from Florida, but yeah, Florida can't go halves. The rest of their schedule, I don't think the Gators can afford to have a scoreless half, right?
No,
Anywhere.
Absolutely not. No, I agree with that. But again, I mean, you've got to, you still got some 50-50 games.
Yeah.
You've got 50-50 with Kentucky. I still think, frankly, that they play with LSU. I think their roster, LSU's rosters would be better. I'm not convinced it's significantly better at this point either. So Kentucky, you've got LSU, you've got in Florida State. I mean, that's three more.
Yeah.
I mean, do you still hear what I hear? That if they go 6-6, he'll be back next year.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
It really is.
And from the outside looking in, I don't have sources inside other than when I go to games at Gainesville, I'm in the press box and I keep my ears out, open. You just think that administration would bend over backwards if he could win 6 and they could keep him.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's the right call. I don't think he's the guy that can take Florida to the level that Florida wants to go to.
Yeah.
But you get the feeling if they can get to 6 wins, and they could give a damn about winning or losing a bowl game and finishing 6-7. They will trumpet the fact that, hey, he made a bowl game. He's making progress. I'm with you. I think they want that so bad they can taste it, and I don't think that's the right move.
And remember, you can actually be 5-7 if you have the right APR.
Yeah,
you can even still get into a bowl,
and we've seen that happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They go to that APR leading team and they bump them in.
Oh yeah, but what you want to see with Gator fans at the end of in November, you want to be able to say, if you're a Gator fan, hey. We may not be beating all these top 10 teams, but we are playing better.
Yeah.
And I think, frankly, after Saturday night, that they could say that. Now, look, here's the thing about it. Gus Malzahn is not a great coach. He's never been, because he averages 4 losses a year over the last dozen years. But it meant something for Florida to win that game over their rival.
It did. I agree with you. Does Florida have anything for will Tennessee sleepwalk at all, or will the Gators on the helmet at night and all the punishment Florida has doled out to Tennessee over the years, will that override? Will this Tennessee team be awakened Saturday night in Neyland?
Yeah. If Tennessee, the worst thing that happened to Florida was Tennessee losing to Arkansas. I don't think there's any way in the world that they're going to catch Tennessee napping in this game. But I'll say this, and it frankly needs to be said. That Arkansas game was a great example, and you probably you figured this out too. They didn't play anybody. I mean, frankly, when you look at Tennessee. The truth of the matter is, Terry, with that schedule, and that's what happened to Missouri. Missouri hadn't played anybody either, and that really kind of snuck up on them at this. And look, I know NC State's okay.
Not really.
but look, NC State doesn't have the roster.
No.
That Tennessee does at this point, and the reality is, now you remember Oklahoma changed quarterbacks in that Tennessee win.
Yeah.
So, but Oklahoma really does not have they barely got a Division I offense. So Terry, you can make I think it's debatable. Certainly, if this preseason schedule, I don't think it's up Tennessee a bit.
Chattanooga, NC State, who's really going the wrong way, Kent State, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Oklahoma, Arkansas, middle of the pack SEC teams, and they split with them. Yeah, you can make now. Alabama's still waiting on them. Georgia's still waiting on them. So, real disappointing. Tennessee, with all that supposed offensive firepower, 14 points. 14 points on the road, and that's not going to get it. Brent, the Seminoles lost again. Little bit more fight. I like Clemson, and I like Clemson covering the 14, and they did. Florida State, the most disappointing team in the country. I don't think there's any argument about that.
I agree with that.
Preseason, 10th in the country. They need a week off. They get a week off. They need it. They need it. And then they don't play again until the following Friday. They play a Friday game at Duke. That's going to be a weird game. Duke's 5-1. Duke has about as bland a football stadium as you can have. It's just a round, right? Yeah. It's just a round circle. It'll be a weird everything, but man, do the Noles. I don't see many more wins on this schedule. If they don't get Duke at Miami, North Carolina is a toss-up. They're both train wrecks. At Notre Dame, Charleston Southern they'll beat. And right now, I think I wouldn't have said this 2 weeks ago. Right now, I think Florida will beat Florida State.
That very well might.
If I had to pick it now.
Now here's the most important thing about Florida State as of now. In the Clemson game, 37% of FSU's offensive snaps came from underclassmen, and 28% of them were true freshmen. So, and 28%, basically 30% of the defensive snaps came from underclassmen. Okay. What you've got to do right now, if you're Mike Norvelle, this season's over. You know that. And the best thing they could do is to play as many of these kids as they can.
Agreed. Totally agree. Quickly wrapping up some of the teams we followed. Georgia, business as usual. Auburn's just you always like to point out roster. Auburn just doesn't have the roster right now. No. And Georgia, I think Georgia's got the most potential in the country to be the number one team. They haven't put it all together. No. They still look a little bored. They still look unless they've got Alabama or Texas on the other sideline. I think they're a little bored, but really a business as usual Georgia win, right?
Well, but I want to ask you about that though. There's something different about this Georgia team. Yeah. This Georgia team is not as good as it was last year.
They're missing an edge or something, aren't they?
I think part of that is that they don't have and they really didn't have this a whole lot last year, except at time they don't have the edges that they need on that defensive line.
Yeah,
they don't have the and again, this really tells you how much Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey helped them last year. And I like Lovett. I think he's good. But did you see where Kirby took a shot at the crowd?
Yes.
Said I'm really disappointed in our fans with this game because I just wonder if the fans are bored.
I think they are
right now. I think that's a lot of that too.
Little edge is missing, and the McConkeys and the Bowers, good teams go to those guys. Those are get out of jail. Those are get out of jail free cards when you're backed up, right? I remember saying it last year. FSU. I said they're going to miss Trey Benson. Trey Benson was FSU's get out of jail free, and Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman. But boy, when Georgia, especially last year, when Bowers just put on a show and McConkey was in and out of the lineup, but last year. I bet you there were 3 or 4 times against Auburn last year.
Oh, they were.
But Bowers probably turned in his get out of jail free card 20 times last year for Georgia. Big plays when they needed them, and Georgia is missing an edge. I don't know where you get it or where it is, but they're missing something, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just coasting to some degree. Now look, they came up when they needed to, and maybe they're so good that it almost looks boring. in what they're doing. But Auburn's had, it's been 8 straight wins now. Auburn had one in Athens since 2005.
That's not right in that series. That's just not right.
No, it's really not. But that's the reality that you got in it right now too.
Brent, let's pop through a couple more here, and then we'll go to a final break and start wrapping the show. Are you a Miami believer now? Is Miami legitimately one of that 7, 8 teams, 8, 9 teams that if they got hot they could win it? It's impressive what they're doing.
It is. I want to say yes, but the reality is when you basically are, you go to the pass in the end zone against Virginia Tech, and then you've got the Cal situation.
Yeah.
Look, think about this a minute. Cal was ahead of them, and this was no fluke. Cal was ahead of them 35-10 with basically 23 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
And I give Miami credit for coming back. I don't know. They're much better than they were. Cam Ward's a viable Heisman candidate. My Lord, he's already got 20 touchdown passes. He may be the first to throw 30 in a season. I think that's coming. My Lord, he may have 40 before it's over, too.
They got an easy schedule, Brent.
And they really do.
They don't see Clemson. They don't see Notre Dame. They've got an easy schedule. But that Cam Ward looks special, though. He looks
does.
like
and
he's got a pocket full of get out of jail free cards.
Yeah, he does.
And he's makes him. Hey, I want to get a troll in. It has to do with Alabama, but I know you probably saw this. I don't know who did it on the Facebook, but the great 17-year-old freshman Ryan Williams at Alabama. 17 years old, right? Making these plays. Got out of high school early. He looks like a man among boys, the receiver for Alabama. That has been made a lot of that's been on a lot of the games. This kid's 17. This kid's doing stuff that no 17-year-olds ever. Did you see the Facebook troll on him? Somebody posted and said, hey, by the way, Ryan Williams, he's the youngest player ever to lose to Vanderbilt.
No.
Because they've been pointing out all that. They've been pointing out all this. Hey, he's the youngest guy to ever catch an 80-yard pass. He's the youngest guy to do this. Somebody posted, he's also the youngest guy to ever lose to Vanderbilt. He's 17.
Did we talk about this last week that he is a cousin of Serena Williams?
No, I did not know that.
Yes. Serena texted this last week about how proud we are of you, cuz.
Wow. Good for her.
And it was to Ryan Williams.
Wow, good for her. I didn't know that. Thanks, Brett. Quickly, I've been throwing this out. If the committee gets down to the final 2 or 3 at large, and there are 4 or 5 one-loss teams, what do you do with Notre Dame? Brent, they have an ugly loss. Yeah. If they're one of the one-loss teams, Brent, their schedule is beyond bad.
Yeah,
their schedule, how would you bump them in? And I know they're Notre Dame, but their schedule, if Texas A&M doesn't run the table, and I don't think they will, they don't have a good win. USC's going sideways. USC's going to end up with 4 or 5 losses.
Right.
What do you do with Notre Dame if they're one of the 3 or 4 teams with 1 loss trying to grab 2 spots? Their schedule is terrible, and they've got an ugly loss.
Look, I'm almost being facetious here, but I'm not. They may get a bump more from Army and Navy than they would be some of the other teams like Florida State and USC. By the way, Lincoln Riley, the Southern Cal coach, is his last 20 games he's 11-9.
Yeah, the shine is off that bloom or whatever that saying is. Definitely. Brent, we got to get out of here. Let's try and get you on. We'll play it by ear the rest of the week. I know we're going to be on tomorrow, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'll be in contact with you, and I'll also be posting everything on social media. Good stuff as always. We left a lot on the table. We'll get to it next time.
Good. We'll look forward to it, pal. Again, it was a It was one of the wildest weekends that we've seen in quite a while.
And didn't see it coming.
And listen, prayers for all of us, too, by the way.
All of us is right. Let's take a quick break, come back, wrap up the show, get you ready for the rest of the week. Kind of unknown, but we'll talk about that on the other side.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device, you're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, welcome back to the show. We wrap things up. Been a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of Jaguar talk, a lot of college football talk. I want to thank Brent Beard for joining us. 2 minutes left. Let me get a couple things in. I wonder what's going on with the Jaguars and their travel plans. You know, with this ugly weather coming in and the Jags are going out for 2 weeks, one train of thought would be, hey, maybe we should leave a day early. But keep in mind, you got a bunch of husbands on the team that have wives and young kids, you don't really want to take the husband away who's going to be gone for 2 weeks. A lot of the wives with young kids, they don't make this trip because it's just too hard. So you got to weigh that. Do we really want to go a day early, beat the weather out of here? But you don't really want to take dad and husband away, with wifey trying to run the household. And I don't know. It's a tough call. I'm sure they'll make the right one. Speaking of the hurricane, we will be at Hurricanes tomorrow. How ironic is that? In Mandarin, Julington Creek Hurricanes. Looks like we'll definitely be on tomorrow. And then, folks, just follow us on social media. I'll try to do a good job Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just don't know what's going on with the situation with the weather. We'll play it by ear. We really will. But I'll try and do a good job of letting you folks know when and where and what and if and how we will proceed. But it looks like we'll definitely be on tomorrow for sure from Hurricanes in Julington Creek. I want to thank everybody that made the show possible today. I know everybody's kind of thinking about their family and their situation. So we'll go day to day and keep you updated. Also, big news that we have a brand new Monday sponsor. Will be there next Monday, Icebreaker Sports Bar. That is the wonderful, relatively new sports bar that we want to tell everybody about that is inside the Community First Igloo. You'll hear a lot about Icebreakers Sports Bar as we go starting next Monday. That'll wrap it up. Have a good, fun rest of your Monday. A lot of baseball on. Still no score, Detroit, Cleveland. Have a good day, everybody.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding with Bolt City Heating and Air. It's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bolt City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bolt City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoltCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bolt City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoltCityAC.com. And they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bolt City Heating and Air at BoltCityAC.com. Homegrown in your